Almighty, 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 Creator of earth, His blood inside me, inside me, inside me. We know that it works, Almighty, 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 Creator of earth, His blood inside me, inside me, inside me. We know that it works, Who should we fear? We got omnipotent, Almighty Father, the Father of Abraham, the Father of Isaac and Jacob, the Almighty, why would we play with? He said this time for the nation, the covenant backing our faces. Y'all ain't with us, don't care what we face. Where else we gon' go? We gon' trust in His word. Stay on that narrow, don't trust in no turns. Eyes to the east, everybody gon' learn. Put where your sins are, they all about to burn. Past overcoming, got His blood on me. Unforgiveness, let it go, I got the love on me. All the leave, I got the peace, I got the dove on me. See the kingdom of y'all, I got a bug on me. Almighty, 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 Creator of earth, His blood inside me, inside me, inside me. We know that it works, Scattered for many years, now we back. Mind been renewed from this world, we detached. The judgment is coming by His will, that's a slap. The wilderness is coming by His hand, that's a fact. The ark of the covenant, all but willing, that's a spot. Where He gon' get us? It was prophesied in the land you was sold by His blood, you gon' rise, you gon' rise. Babylon falling, it all gon' go wrong. Keep them commandments, we trying to go home. Before you serve me, go serve Him on that throne. Walk as He walk, I'ma walk, I'm a clone. Where He gon' get us? Keep commandments, He gon' fight for us. Hamashiach, He the light for us. Rain on, blow the rain on. Almighty, 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 Creator of earth, His blood inside me, inside me, inside me. We know that it works, Almighty, 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 Creator of earth, His blood inside me, inside me, inside me. We know that it works, Almighty, Creator of earth.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Facebook Live, good afternoon. YouTube, good afternoon. Breaking Strongholds Ministries, good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you all doing today? How you all doing? Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Everybody, how you all are doing today? This is the day that the Most High have made. So let us be glad and rejoice in it. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. I hope your week has been a great week. That the Most High have blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High have really blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy and peace. I really truly hope He has. I really do. I hope the Most High have really blessed you. Hopefully giving you wisdom and knowledge and understanding of His Word. I hope He has directed your footsteps. I really truly hope He has. we're in the week of the Tabernacle too. Feast of Tabernacle. I was just looking at something. Um, the Feast of Tabernacle is about this week. Today is the last day of the week of Feast of Tabernacle, and it was about the pilgrimage of the children of Israel coming out of Egypt and being in the wilderness. And it says the Feast of Tabernacle also shows a Shakuk is a Hebrew festival that commemorates God's provision in the wilderness and looks ahead to the promised Mashiach age. During this 7-day festival, people gather in Jerusalem to remember and give thanks for Ananias' blessing. It says the name of Feast of Tabernacle comes from the temporary dwellings of Shakuk that people are commanded to stay in during the celebration, symbolizes temporary natural of the physical life. That's what this is, the last day of the Feast of Tabernacle for the Hebrew people, meaning that when the children of Israel was going through leaving Egypt and going into the wilderness, they were staying in the wilderness is where the one Most High could really communicate to them and show the people, show the Hebrew Israelites and those that gathered with him that show his word to them and show everything about him to the people in the wilderness. It was just up to them to believe it or not. So this is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacle. Let me do something. It says in Exodus 23:16, it says, in the Feast of Harvest, which is the Feast of Tabernacle, the first fruits of thy labor which thou hast sown in the fields, in the Feast of Ingathering. That is what this is, the Feast of Tabernacle, the Feast of Ingathering, which is in the end of the year when thou hast gathered in thy labor and out of the fields. Okay, so it's basically just talking about everyone going out into the wilderness, setting up tents and just studying the Most High's word. I didn't do the Feast of Tabernacles because I didn't join myself with a group, or I don't have people that's willing to do those types of things. So I recognized it, but I did not do it. But you know, I'm just bringing it to your attention. So let us go to Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And it says that Ananias spake out these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Ananias, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Ananias before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah thy Ananias, am a jealous Ananias, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Ananias in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Ananias. In it thou shalt not do any works, thou nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the Sabbath day. Wherefore if Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy Adonai giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And let us pray this morning. It says, O creators of the heavens and earth, of our radiance and vibrations, soften the grounds of our beings and carve out a space with us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear fruits of our missions. Let each of our actions bear fruits and in accordance with our desires within your purpose for our life. Bestow us with the wisdom of produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled thread of destiny that binds us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which distracts us from our true purpose, but illuminate the true opportunities of present moments. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the creator and power and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. So be it. So good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, Facebook Live. Good afternoon, YouTube and Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good afternoon, good afternoon. If you could turn to the book of Matthew. It's a very familiar passage. I taught on it before. And I got to talk to you again today about it, just to reiterate what's actually going on. I have to talk to you again about it. Matthew chapter 24, 3 through 14. And the key verse is verse 3. The key verse is verse 3. The verse 3 it says, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world? The end of the world means age. End of the age means end of certain people in power. Let me read it over. And as he sat upon Mount Olive, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Let us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? If I may give a title of the text today, the title of the text today, This is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of the end. One word I want to give you today. These two words I already done gave plenty of times. I'm going to give them to you again. The word sign is a gesture motion of the hand to make the sign of the cross, to point out, to signify, indicate something by which another thing is shown or represented. Any visible thing, any motion, appearance, or event which indicates the extension or approach of something else. The approach of something else. A sign is approach of something else. Tribulations is a 12th century word. It means severe afflictions, distress of life, vexation. It also means persecution, state or condition of great afflictions, oppression, suffering or distress, physical and emotional. Physical, emotional, and spiritual. Oppression, sufferings. This is the beginning of the end, meaning the beginning of the afflictions and tribulations, but also the ending of this age. Okay, we all know that the book of Matthew chapter 24 is talking about the end of times, and the disciples are asking questions about when is the ending of this age? When is the ending of this age? In 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verses 6, 7, and 8 and 9. It reads, it says, "Then I considered these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. As by me, they will also be ended, and by none other." So what the Most High was talking to Ezra about is that I created all these things, and the Most High said, I'm going to end all these things. Nobody created them except for me, and nobody will end them except for me. That's what it says in that verse. Then it says, "And then I answered and said, what will be the separating apart of the times? Or when will it be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? And he said to me, from Abraham to Abraham, inasmuch as Jacob and Esau were born of him. For Jacob's hand held the heel of Esau's from the beginning. For Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. The beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand do not seek anything else, Ezra." I answered then and said, O Lord, O Yahuwah that bears rules, if I have found favor in your sight. So what the Most High was saying, at the end of, we're going through ending of periods or cycles. And in each cycle, there will be a beginning and an end. And also it's come from a domination period where Esau is the dominating portion of power right now. Esau represents the European G7 nations. So Esau is the ending of a world, and Jacob, which is the Hebrew Israelite, is the beginning of the new world. So we have a new cycle, an old cycle that is ending, and a new cycle is getting ready to begin. But in order for the new cycle to begin, the old cycle has to be destroyed. And this is what we're seeing right now that plays right out in front of us. An old cycle that is ending and a new cycle that is beginning. Okay, let us go to Daniel chapter 9 verse 27 for a second. I'm going to go to verse 26 and 27. Daniel chapter 9 verse 26 and 27. And it says, "And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolation was determined. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, which is 7 days. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease." Meaning for 1 week, the week of Passover, the Messiah, the week, it's talking about 7 days, and in the middle of the 7 days, the Messiah was supposed to be cut off, meaning killed or deleted. And see, the Messiah was killed on a Wednesday. He wasn't deleted or hung on a tree on a Friday. He was hung or assassinated or deleted on a Wednesday. Wednesday is in the middle of the week. Okay? So it says, in the midst of the week, in the middle of the week, he shall cease the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abomination he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Okay, so what it basically was saying that when Christ died, the Messiah was hung on a tree. He was hung because he wanted to end sin upon the earth. Okay? But it was in the middle of the week, the middle of 7 days. And I want us to understand something. We are right now. Some people say the 7-year tribulation is not in the Bible. But I want to talk about we're in a 7-year period right now. We're in the midst of we're in the beginning of the second half of the 7-year period. Okay? We're in the second half of the 7-year period, because we got to understand in 2019, in the beginning, hold on, let me see something. Okay, let me see something. Joe Biden was sworn in office on January the 20th, 2021. He was sworn in on January the 1st, 2021. Okay, that when his presidency began. But during that time period, we was in the midst of the pandemic. We had just got started. He did not enforce. After his sworn in is when he started to enforce policies that will make you do things that you really didn't like. So he was sworn in on January 20, 2021. That was the beginning of the tribulations. The force of taking something that you really didn't want to take. Because you couldn't go to work, you couldn't do this, you couldn't go into stores, you couldn't do this. You couldn't do all of that if you did not take the enforcement. Okay? So understand that. When did Biden drop out of the race? Biden dropped out of the race on July the 22nd, 2024. Which is 3.5 years within his presidency. 3.5 years within his presidency. Okay? So he began in January 2021. He dropped out in July the 22nd, 2024, which is 3.5 years.
January 22nd? Yep.
3.5 years. So,
That's a while.
So Kamala Harris became the nominee for the presidency during that time period. Okay? So what happened on September the 17th and 18th of this week? Because this week was a major week for everybody. Okay? This week was a major week for people. On September the 17th and 18th, we had a full moon and a lunar eclipse. a full moon and a partial lunar eclipse on the 17th or 18th of this week, right? Then it says, I want to read you something coming out of, what's the article? People. It came out an article on People, and it was 5 days ago. Let me see if I can find the time. I can't. It came out 5 days ago. No, it didn't come out 5 days ago. But I'm going to read it. It says, the title of the thing says, why you shouldn't manifest during September's partial lunar eclipse. It says, I'm going to skip down a little bit because it's talking about the lunar eclipse that happened on September the 17th and 18th. I understand that. It says, hold on, let me do something else first. It says a partial lunar eclipse occurs when the earth moves between the sun and the moon, but the three celestial bodies do not form a straight line in space. When that happens, a small part of the moon's surface is covered by the darkest center part of the earth's shadows. Okay? And that's what happens. That's what is a partial lunar eclipse. It says a partial lunar eclipse occurs when the earth moves between the sun and the moon, but the three celestial bodies do not form a straight line in space. When that happens, a small part of the moon's surface is covered by the darkest part of the earth's shadows. Listen to that. When that happens, a small part of the moon's surface is covered by the darkest center part of the earth's shadow. Okay, so what happens on the lunar eclipse? Okay, it says it says resident astrologer Kyle Thomas describes a lunar eclipse as a full moon on steroids that can trigger destinies and fate events. Listen to that. A lunar eclipse on a full moon can trigger destiny and fate events on the day they occur or within weeks and months that surround it. Seizing the opportunity to maximize its energy is critical. However, it must be done appropriately. Listen to that. Understand that again. Let me read it to you clearly. It says, a lunar eclipse as a full moon on steroids that can trigger destiny and fate events on the day they occur or within the weeks and months that surround it. Seizing the opportunity to maximize its energy is critical. However, it must be done appropriately. Manifestation specifically is an astrological method used to make the most of the new moon and full moon. Though Thomas warned of the negative effects it will have on us if attempted near an eclipse, there are specific periods that are better for us to do so. He say of the practice, trying to manifest during an eclipse and in the entire month before and after is not a good thing to do. Thomas warns, it doesn't matter if an eclipse is partial or total because they are still potent regardless. So during the time of the eclipse and the full moon, that happened on the 17th and 18th of this month, which was this week, it creates energy on the earth that can bring certain things to fruition. I want us to understand that. It can bring certain things to fruition on the earth because of this lunar eclipse that just happened. Let me go to Genesis real fast because I want us to understand something. Okay, let me do this. We're talking about signs and tribulations, right? And what happened this week? We had a lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse, and we had a full moon on the same day. Okay? And what happened this week? Okay, Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. It says, "And Ananias said, Let there be light in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." Everything that we see going on up in the heavens or in the skies are to be known as a sign, a season, a day, and years. And I'm specifically dealing with signs right now. Okay? What we saw Tuesday was a notification during the Feast of Tabernacle of what's getting ready to take place. Okay? So what happened this week? What happened this week? Okay, let's go to the first one. On September the 16th, Sean Diddy Combs was arrested after a year of intensified allegations. How we got here. Okay, on September the 16th, a day before the full moon and the lunar eclipse, they arrested Sean Puffy Combs. Okay, just gonna read you a little bit. It says, in the past 11 months, music magnate Sean Diddy Combs have faced allegations of abuse and sexual assault, culminating in a 10 civil lawsuit, a federal human trafficking probe, and his arrest and indictment early this week. So, on September the 16th, the federal government, Homeland Security, arrested Sean P. Diddy Combs for allegations of human trafficking and all these other stuff, right? That was September the 16th. Okay? What happened on September the 17th? What happened on September the 17th? What happened on September the 17th? It goes on NPR News. Another wave of blasts hit Lebanon as Hezbollah's reels from pager explosions. So what happened on the 16th and what happened on the 17th and 18th of this month during the lunar eclipse? The state of Israel used pagers and cell phones as a EMP strike on the Lebanese military personnel. Let me read you a little bit of it. It says, Lebanon and Tel Aviv, Israel. A fresh wave of explosions and communication devices struck Lebanon on Wednesdays, leaving 14 people dead and 450 wounded, according to the Lebanese health officials. The 18th was on Wednesday. Okay? Then it says the new explosion took place nearly 24 hours after the near sensationalized pager blast on Tuesday that left 12 people dead and nearly 3,000 injured in Lebanon and part of Syria. So what the state of Israel did on the day of the full moon and the total eclipse, they caused pagers to explode and cause over 3,500 to 4,000 people to be injured, maybe 50 people to be deleted, and all of that on Tuesday and Wednesday during the partial lunar eclipse and the full moon. Okay? What also happened this week? Kamala Harris had an interview with Oprah Winfrey on 9/17 of this week. It was publicized on TikTok and on YouTube. It says the Desert News, that's not the Desert News, the Desert News. 3 takeaways from Kamala Harris' chat with Oprah, including, I am a gun owner too. Oprah Winfrey had a major interview with Kamala Harris on September the 17th during the lunar eclipse. Okay? Then also we had one more other thing that happened this week. We had the federal government cutting taxes on September the 17th of this week. 4 things. We had the tax cut was done on September the 17th of this week. Okay, so let me read you a little bit of something about what they said about tax cuts. It says tax cuts reduce government revenue and create either a budget deficit or increase sovereign debt. The federal tax system relies on several taxes to regenerate revenue, including income tax and payroll tax. Proponents of tax cuts argue that cut increases an individual or family disposable income, spurs spending, and help grow the economy. Critics of tax cuts claims that cuts only benefit wealthy and reduce necessary governmental services for the low income bracket. Okay? Then I pulled something up. I said, will the U.S. go into recession after the tax cut 2024? It says a recession will probably strike by the end of 2024, colliding with campaign for presidential elections. If the economy is shrinking, the race for the White House in 2024 is likely to be even more toxic than expected. Politics could distort the government response to a recession. Okay, so what we had this week, 4 major issues that we had this week during the full moon and the total eclipse. We had the federal government cutting taxes. We had Oprah having a major interview with Kamala Harris. We had Sean P. Diddy Combs getting arrested. And then we had the state of Israel bombing the Lebanese people over there in Lebanon. And what the Most High showed me was, what we saw this week was death, judgment, revelations. Kamala Harris' interview with Oprah Winfrey was a revelation to the people in the world. If you really truly paid attention to her interview, it was a revelation. Sean P. Diddy Combs was judgment on the wicked. What you saw in Lebanon was death by war. Also, what you saw with the Fed's tax cut, it was considered to be a financial crisis. So, when we're talking about in Matthew chapter 24, in verse 3, and the key word in verse 3 was signs. Let us go back to Matthew chapter 24 verse 3, because I just gave you 4 major events that happened this week. Okay? It says in Matthew chapter 24 verse 3 that as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the age? It was 4 major things that happened this week to show you something major is happening on the earth. Because what happened in Lebanon was so horrendous. I mean, out of the 50 people that got deleted, the other people are terminally disabled for the rest of their lives. Some people got their eyes taken out. Some people got their hands amputated. All those people who have been attacked over there in Lebanon have been disabled for the rest of their lives. And these are the things, and it was so significant that they did this during a full moon and a partial lunar eclipse. And see, we did not pay attention to that because we were so overwhelmed with all the other things that was going on the earth that we really didn't pay attention to what was actually taking place.
The debate threw them off.
Absolutely, the debate threw them off. So now let us go. It says in Matthew chapter 24 verses 3, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him saying, probably saying, Tell us what shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and the end of the earth? Let us go to Matthew. Let us go down to verses 32 and 33, because I want to deal with signs for a minute, because signs are gesture motions of the hands, but they also approach of something else to come. Okay, we're looking for something else that's getting ready to come, because we got to understand that Joe Biden, he dropped out of the presidency race in the middle of his in 3.5 years of him being in office. And if we understand that we may have 7 years of tribulations, it is letting us know that we are in the second portion of the 7 years of tribulation. What happened this week is the beginning of the 7 years of the second part of the 7 years tribulation, if you believe in that. Okay? It says in Matthew chapter 24 verse 32 and 33 and 34, it says, Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When this branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. Verily I say unto you, this generation, listen to this, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Okay? So we got to understand that we are the generation. What generation means? Generation means an age, a period, or a person. It means an age, a generation, a nation, or a time period. Okay, so we are in the time period where we're going to see all these things take place, because we are seeing the signs and the wonders as of now. As of this week, we saw 4 major things that happened this week. We saw financial crisis on the rise. We saw judgment on the rise. We saw revelation on the rise. And we saw death on the rise this week. Okay, let us go to Mark, because I want us to understand something. The Most High, that's why I read in Genesis chapter 1 verse 14, everything that we see in the skies are signs, seasons, time periods, in years and months. So we're looking for signs right now. So what we saw on the 17th and 18th of this week was a major sign that is getting ready to come. Mark chapter 13 verses 28 through 30. I want us to understand something. We are the chosen people to see and experience these things. It says, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When your branch is yet tender and put forth leaves, ye know this, that summer is near. Understanding that he using this parable because that's what they can understand. When we see that the trees are getting ready, the leaves on the trees are turning brown, the first thing we say, fall is coming. When we see the grass turning brown, we say fall is coming. That is a sign to us to know that seasons are getting ready to change. So when we see these things and these calamities that is upon the earth, what we have to understand that things are changing. That's what we have to set into our minds, that things are getting ready to change. Okay? It says, so ye in the like manner, when ye see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the door. Verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. And that is the hardest part for us to accept and to understand. All these things must take place. Do we really want it to take place? No. But it got to. Israel has been attacking Lebanon all this week because they're trying to entice the war to go off during this time period. Because Israel know, the state of Israel know that they don't have much time left. So they got to go ahead and start this war in the Far East. That's what actually is taking place. Everybody's trying to speed up the process or to ignite the process so that these things can happen for their benefit. The one who will take the initiative to do something during this time period is the ones that will benefit from the initial action. If you don't take no actions during this time period, you cannot receive anything from this time period. But the ones who take the initial actions during this time period will receive the benefit. Okay, so let us go to Luke, because I want us to understand something. We're dealing with seasons. Like the weather is changing now. We got to understand that. Luke 21. Like the weather is changing now. If you notice that it is getting darker sooner. So this is a time period. This is a sign that something, the winter, fall and winter is coming ahead. It does not get dark at 9:30 no more. It's starting to get dark at 8:15, 8 o'clock. So the seasons are changing. So when you starting to see these things on the earth happening, you got to realize that something else is about to come. And it says in Luke chapter 21 verses 30 through verse 32, when they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when you see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Anani is at hand. We got to realize that a major judgment is getting ready to take place. A major judgment is on the earth. The Most High's hands are in the midst. Very right now. And that is, we have to have that in our consciousness. We got to have that in the back of our minds. Because we got to understand that Christ passed away or was assassinated in the middle of the 7 days. Also 7 days could symbolize 7 years. We are in the midst of the 7 years. We are in the midst of those 7 years. Okay? And it says, verily I say to you, this generation shall not pass away till it all be fulfilled. And that is the hardest part for us to understand. Those people who listen to me, and if you believe in the rapture, there is no rapture. There is no rapture. You will not be caught up in the clouds. No. You're going to have to experience everything that everybody else experienced. Nobody's going to be caught up. The church teaches a replacement theology about the church replacing the nations of the 12 tribes. That is a replacement theology which don't exist. The church cannot replace the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? So let's go back to Matthew chapter 24. Because we're looking for signs, right? It says again, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and the end of the age? We're looking for signs, right? We're looking for signs. We're looking for signs. Because I was talking to a guy this week, and one of the guys said, I was asking the guy, I was like, man, and I was talking to my wife Sharon, I said, how can people be sane during this time period? You got Russia and Ukraine. You got Israel in the middle, the Far East. You got the migrants over here coming over here doing what they do. Then you got all this sickness and death around you. I said, now they just continue to, it's just a continue to bombard you with stuff. You got P. Diddy Combs coming out with his issues and how it's going to affect the whole entertainment industry. And then how P. Diddy is connected with a lot of major preachers in the mega churches and how it's going to affect the churches. So you got all this stuff coming down. I was talking to the guy, I said, you got, and my wife, I said, you got all this stuff coming down. How can we, as a people, continue to have a Sound mind in the midst of all this stuff here. How can we have a sound mind in the midst of all of this stuff? Because it is a lot to deal with. It is nothing that you can really take lightly because it is so much stuff. Let's alone, not even including the price of food, the price of gas. Not even including that. The people not getting jobs. You know, you ain't making no more money on your job. People getting fired. All this stuff coming at you at one time. How can we as a people continue to maintain sanity during this process? Okay, the signs are, and it says, and Yahshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. When that word say, I am Christ, it means anointed one, a Messiah, right? But it also means some quality of the thing to which it is applied. It means a brilliant appearance. See, a lot of these organizations or the church organizations has a brilliant appearance as if they are the right, they have the right belief system, but they do not have the right belief system. They can look the part, but does not mean they are doing the right thing. So when it says I am Christ, it's coming from a Messiah or a position of appearance. And see, this week, or when they dealing with the Diddy issue, it's gonna destroy churches. It's gonna destroy the music industry, and it may even destroy politics, because that's how deep and how far it goes. It's gonna affect every major area of our foundation in the United States. Politics, entertainment, and religious sector. Because some of the major politicians, executives, and pastors have dealt with him and his parties for a long period of time. Okay, so now when we see that there's going to be some false religions out here, then it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And that, when I was reading that this morning, it gave me a reassurance. It gave me a reassurance that, okay, I know these things are supposed to happen. It can be overloading sometimes, but I know these things going to happen and they got to happen. All these systems that are getting ready to go up on a judgment now, it has to take place. Nobody's innocent in the entertainment industry. Nobody's innocent in the politics. And nobody's innocent in the religious sector, because, like Deidre Hatton was saying, that some preachers are having relationships with other preacher wives. He said that the religion music and sector of music is more sinful than the contemporary. And I said it about a couple of weeks ago. So if the preachers are having extramarital affairs with other preacher wives, and the music artists are just as bad as the contemporary, it's gonna really tear some things up. And that's something that we really don't put into perspective. And it all came out during the partial lunar eclipse. All this revelation came out during the partial lunar eclipse. That was a sign for us to really, truly pay attention to what actually is going on. It said, ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. And see, that's what I had to look at this week. Is, man, all this stuff going on, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. You know, I said I got to start back going to the gun range once or twice a month. I got to start doing all these things because I know that the time is on the way. Then it says in verse 7, for nations shall rise against nations, and kingdoms against kingdoms. Listen to this. There shall be famine, pestilence, earthquakes in divers places. See, and that's the thing. With this Fed cut, they say, yes, the stock market is going to go up for over the 5-year time period. But he said, most executives are saying, business managers in the financial market is saying, for the first 6 to 9 months, it's going to cause a crisis, or the stock market to fall, because we're in a season of an inflation right now, meaning everything is high. So if everything is high, how can you turn around and start giving government, these businesses, large tax cuts? And they are the ones that were driving the prices up from the very beginning. He said, how are you going to turn around and give them a tax cut? I was just reading today that FedEx did not make a whole lot of money last month or the first quarter. So they're gonna have to do some changes financially at FedEx. So when we're looking at this tax cut that's getting ready to happen, it's gonna bring famine. Pestilence is already here. People are already sick. But these are the things that we are looking for. These are the things that we're looking for. Like I said this week, we just saw death. We just saw revelations. We just saw judgment. And we just saw financial crisis get ready to start. It said, but all these things are the beginning. All these are the beginning of sorrow. What does sorrow mean? Sorrow means a pang, a thorn, especially childbirth. It means pain, sorrow, and travail. Grief. This is the beginning of the grieving period. Because it's going to be hurtful to see how the entertainment industry treated people. It's going to be hard when we have war on the earth. It's going to be hard when you see financial instabilities in the earth. And it's really going to be painful when you see revelations of all these things and how we really have been tricked, hoodwinked, and bamboozled. It's going to be really painful because this is something they have given us an illusion for a long period of time. They made everything seem to be glorified as if everything that what was going on was so great. But the Most High had to show us this week that no, it ain't so great. Diddy Combs ain't so great. The entertainment industry ain't so great. Because you got some politicians in there. You got some preachers that deal with him. You got all these people that was dealing with Diddy. Then he said, what you saw over there in Lebanon, that was hard to watch. Knowing that a man just picked up a pager and 5 minutes later his eyes was knocked out of his head. Or he's not able to see, or his arm, his hand was knocked off. What's going to be painful that we think whatever president candidacy that we think going to do the right thing for us, it's not. That's going to be the most that's going to be the most hardest thing for us to understand, because he's giving us revelations. He's giving us revelations of these troubles that's getting ready to take place. He's showing these troubles that's getting ready to come, but it's going to be painful for us to watch because a lot of us are not going to be ready for it. Let us go to Leviticus. Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26. Let's go to verse 18. Listen to this. Let's go to verse 17 first. It says, I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. If ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. I will break the pride of your powers, and I will make your heavens as iron, your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of your land yield their fruits. If you walk contrary unto me, I will not hearken, and will not hearken to me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. Listen to that. And if ye will walk contrary, means against me, and will not hearken to me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in numbers. And your high ways shall be desolate. And if you will not reform by me by these things, but will walk contrary to me, then I will also walk contrary to you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. That is the troubles that we're getting ready to see on the earth. Because we got to look at, and also turn to Isaiah chapter 9. Okay, Isaiah chapter 9 verse 17. But we got to look at this right here. The politician, the entertainment industry, and the religious sector have all been walking contrary to the Most High. Look at what Diddy was doing. Look what the politicians do. And look at what the religious sector has been doing for a long period of time. All of them have been walking contrary to the Most High. So he don't have no choice but to bring judgment on these people. And those who follow after these people and honor these people. Because believe me and you, Obama was part of the party and went to the parties. Al Sharpton done been to the parties. All these people, Jake's done been to the parties. I've been swallowed up. I've been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? What you think he was talking about? So, understand that these things finna truly happen. And the financial crisis is going to hit because BRICS is meeting next month. We don't have much time. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 17, it says, Therefore Yahuwah shall know joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy upon. Let me read that over. Therefore Yahuwah shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is an hypocrite and an evildoer. Every mouth speak folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out since. Still. Let me read that up. What's going on with me? Therefore Yahuwah shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is an hypocrite, an evildoer, and every mouth speak folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For the wickedness burn as a fire. It shall devour the briars and the thorns, and shall kindle the thickets of the fires, and they shall mount up like the lifting of smoke. So the Most High don't really have pity on those who he getting ready to deal with, because he knew what they was doing. I was looking at some of the list of Diddy people, and everybody who's probably been on Diddy list who's in an executive or mayoral position, they're resigning. They are resigning. I looked up a couple of people's names. They have resigned. And one was a politician, a mayor of a city. At some point, they said that Jakes was missing. I'm telling you, it's huge. Let's go to 1 Peter. I think I read this one before. 1 Peter 4 and 17. It said, For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Ananias. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Ananias? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinners appear? Listen to that. He said if the righteous barely get in, what you think gonna happen to the unrighteous and the sinners? And see, that's what we actually see going on right now. We see the judgment. They said that Kevin Hart owned some restaurant chains in California. All of them closed in one day. Everybody is scattering. Everybody is scattering.
Like roaches, the light been turned on.
What you say?
Like roaches, the light's been turned on.
Absolutely. Everybody is scattering. Because they, huh?
They trying to hide.
Yeah, they trying to hide because let's go to Revelation chapter 6. Listen to this. Revelation chapter 14, 15, 16. and 17.
Revelation 6.
Revelation chapter 6, verse 14, 15, 16, and 17. This is what it says. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island was moved out of their place. And the kings of the earth, the great men and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, every bondman, every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Understand that there's nowhere nobody can hide. There's no place nobody can run. I don't care if you do close down all your businesses. I don't care if you close down your churches. I don't care if you resign from your positions in politics. I don't care if you decide, whatever you decide to do, all your wickedness shall be exposed. Ain't nothing that you can do about it. Listen to verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? See, even Russell Simmons going over to that place where he's got no jurisdiction, where they can't extradite him, he's still going to get here too. Because Russell Simmons is the ones that taught Sean P. Diddy Combs all he needed to know. Matthew chapter 24. See, those things in verse 5, 6, and 7 are the signs. And there are troubles and difficult times are ahead. The Most High is just letting us know these are things that's getting ready to take place. These are the things that's getting ready to take place. Okay? Then it says in verse 9, in Matthew chapter 20, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations of my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, mean sin or transgress, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Now listen to that. Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. That's what you're getting ready to have right now. Many people finna start coming out snitching on everybody. Everybody gonna start snitching on everybody. Because they're gonna try to save themselves from the judgment that's getting ready to come. Then it says, many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Listen to that. Because iniquity or sin shall increase, the love of many shall wax cold. See, what Diddy did was sins. What the politicians are doing is sin. What the pastors are doing is sin. So you cannot expect love to abound when sin is overriding righteousness. You can't expect that to happen. And it won't happen. That's why we're seeing all these things take place. But listen to this. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. See, we have to go through all these things that's happening on the earth. And see, that's what I have been dealing with last week. And because the righteous shall be persecuted for their righteousness, right? And a lot of the times right now, I know a lot of people feel like giving up and giving in. Throwing in the towel. But this is the moment that you got to say to yourself, he that endures to the end shall be protected. This is the moment that you got to really continue to push through everything that you're going through. Whether you had someone to pass in your family, whether it's a daughter, son, uncle, nephew, mother. This is the moment that you got to continue to push through. Whether you lost your job, whether you're going through some sicknesses, this is the moment that you got to continue to push through. Whatever you have been through in your life, whether you're having broken relationships, whether you're having financial difficulty, whether you're having health issues, this is the time that you got to continue to push through this moment. Because it says, he that shall endure unto the end. See, this is the moment he's telling us, this is the moment that we're looking at, right? He's giving us a warning. He making us be aware of what's getting ready, what's happening. And because you know what's happening, you can't allow what's happening to overwhelm you and overthrow you. This is the moment that you got to continue to push through your situation. This is the moment that you got to say that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. This is the moment to say, I lift my hands and
I lift my eyes to the hills.
Hold on. This is what we have to say. This is what we got to say, right? It's like what you were saying, Sharon. Go ahead. I will lift my eyes unto the hills which cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahuwah, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee shall not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahuwah is thy keeper. Yahuwah is thy shade upon thy right hand. See, this is the moment that we should be quoting that. These are the moments. It says in Proverbs 1, my son, forget not my law, but thy heart keeps my commandments. For the length of days and long life, peace and shall they add to thee. Let not mercy. Hold on, I'm trying to find something else. I'm trying to find something else. Let me see something. I'm trying to find something. Okay, it says in Psalms 21:2, it says, thou hast given him his heart desires, and has not withholden the request of his lips.
For thou preventeth him with the blessing of goodness. Thou sittest a crown of pure gold on his head. So what I'm trying to say is that we got to really truly be seeking the Most High at this moment, at this time. This is the moment that we really should be seeking him. Because we understand the signs of troubles is on the way. This is the moment that we should be enduring. This is the moment that we should be saying, help us, Abba. This is the moment that we should just be dependent on him more than ever before. You know? This is he. This is what we should be doing. Because we see the troubles, we first see the signs, and we understand the troubles on the way. But he's telling us and he's encouraging us, you got to continue to endure just a little bit longer. You got to continue to go through it just a little bit longer. Well, we should be saying, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. This is what we should be saying. My help cometh from Yahuwah. My help cometh from Yahuwah. This is what we should be saying. Our help is in the name of Yahuwah who made the heaven and earth. Everything that we need should be saying, I put my trust in you right now, Most High. I may not have what I want, but I got what I need. I may not be the this or the that, but I'm okay where I am. Because you have already foretold me these things about to happen. That's what we should be saying in our mind right now. Because immigrants are kicking in people's doors. A lady in Texas just had to delete somebody because of that. No, in Chicago, because she had two people breaking into her home. And she had to delete one of them. These are the calamities that's here. But we should be saying, thank you, Most High. I'm going to continue to keep my eyes on you. Even in the midst of it. Even in the midst of it. Isaiah 41:13, it says, For I, Yahuwah, thy Ananiah, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help you. See, that's what our mindset should be like. The Most High is going to help me in this moment. The Most High is going to guide me in this moment. He already showed me the signs that's getting ready to take place. He told me it's going to be troubles on the earth. He told me people going to come out there and afflict me. People going to hate me. He told me all these things. But now at this moment for me, I should be putting all my trust in Yahuwah. Because I know he's my help. When we go to Hosea, chapter 13, verse 9, it says, O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thy help. See, a lot of times we go outside of Yahuwah when we really should go to Yahuwah. Everything we try to get, we'll say, I'm going to ask them to do it for me. I'm going to ask that person to do it for me. And instead of just sitting down, meditating and praying, saying, Yahuwah, what you want me to do? How you want me to do it? Which way you want me to do it? So that you can get the glory. Because a lot of times when somebody do something for you, they're going to say, yeah, I have that person do this. Yeah, I have that person do that. And yeah, I have that person do this. And yeah, I have that person do that. That person is getting the credit when Yahuwah wants the credit. Last one, Hebrews chapter 13, verse 6, it said, so that we might be boldly say, Yahuwah is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me. The more we're afraid of man, the less we have confidence in Yahuwah. Listen to that again. The more we are afraid of man, the less confidence we have in Yahuwah. But the more we have confidence in Yahuwah, the less we are afraid of man. And I'm closing with this one.